Hello and welcome to ATI 4205. Once a facility location has been selected, the layout should be designed. The company should take advantage of the space and create an efficient and safe layout. This session will address the planning and implementation of different layout strategies. In addition, it will discuss some of the methods, tools, and techniques used to design an efficient layout. When designing a layout, the space should be utilized as much as possible. The space required for using certain equipment need to be considered, and the movement of people in the warehouse should be considered. For example, a designer need to consider a space for the rotation of and movement of a forklift to store away or bring down items. Utilizing the vertical space available in the warehouse requires the use of equipment that can reach to the upper locations. The purpose of the design is to improve the flow of information, material, and people, taking into consideration the safety of the firm employees and their needs will improve employee morale. The layout should be flexible and agile to accommodate any future changes or expansions, and we will address all these items later on in this session. To plan for an efficient warehouse layout, we need first to define the objective of that warehouse or distribution center. What is the purpose of the warehouse? What do we need? Why are we creating that warehouse to begin with? So if it's a warehouse distribution center, what's the purpose of that? Then we collect information about the size. What will be the size, the suppliers that we are going to get from the material, the customers, the products. Do we need products? Do we need are we using perishable products that needs fridge or needs something to cool them down, or what will be the purpose of that warehouse? And then we analyze the information and create a plan based on the analysis results. Once the plan has been created and verified, the layout design starts. Post the implementation of the plan, a feedback will be collected and analyzed for continuous improvement. So let's look at these stages one by one. So during the planning phase, warehouse objective should be clearly defined. This is the first thing to do, to define and identify the objective of that warehouse, objective or objectives of that warehouse. In some cases might be more specific, such as maximizing warehouse space, providing maximum flexibility in the warehouse, or increasing warehouse efficiency without increasing resources. Those are the general objectives. What do we need to maximize the space or use the space? In addition, the planner need to consider the products that will be stored in the warehouse and the requirements to store them. The objective will be affected by the type of warehouse. For example, the objective of a long-term storage warehouse will be different from a cross-docking warehouse, and we talked about the cross-docking before. If it's a cold storage or climate control, what will be the proper temperature? Does the layout require the use of freezers or fridges, or what will be the proper equipment to use? Would the company require the warehouse to have processing capabilities or just a distribution center? All these questions will clearly define the purpose of the warehouse and the warehouse layout. Information should be collected to analyze these questions, to identify requirements, and to plan the layout correctly. Warehouse specifications that affect storing and material handling will be identified. The warehouse size, the number of columns, the number of doors, the height restrictions, if it's in a zoning area and the city or the state will require you to have a certain height. The number of ducts that you are allowed to, because even that will be part of the restriction of the state or the zoning area. The number of storage racks and the external features also should be documented. Some of these features could be dictated by the county or city rules through the zoning restriction as we stated. So we need to check what are we allowed to do, what will or what are we not allowed to do by the county or the city. The information collected should include the storage purposes um, and the length of storing. The collected information will be analyzed and aligned with warehouse objective. So we map all the information that's been analyzed to the objectives. The analysis should determine if the overall objectives can be met or not. If not, a plan will be created to modify the objectives and which can be modified. The analysis will assist in evaluating requirements and operational needs. Analyzing the data will assist in developing the proper plan for an efficient layout. All the purpose of analyzing the data is to have an efficient layout design. So once the objectives are identified and the data being collected, analyzed, the plan should be created. The plan should be at a high level, showing the major layout design requirements and the activities needed to create the design. The plan will include allocating resources to tasks based on the estimated time for each task. The plan to design, or we plan to design the warehouse with competition in mind, knowing that I will be competing with other companies, so I need to take that into consideration. The implementation of the warehouse layout plan might go wrong due to unrealistic timelines in the plan, lack of resources, unavailability of outside contractors, or poor analysis of the information that was gathered. Proper time to the implementation must be chosen. Small changes over a weekend versus major changes planned for closing the location. Do we need to close that location to do the changes, or we can keep it open? So when implementing the new layout, if closing the warehouse it's not possible, then additional warehouse resources should be deployed to keep shipping products during the implementation. All changes made in the warehouse layout should be reflected on the warehouse management or inside the warehouse management system to indicate the new locations of items and ensure correct handling and processing. You added shelves, you changed, you had different layout. So you need to reflect that in the software that you are using to know exactly how to find these items. After the implementation, there should be a series of checks to verify that the implementation was according to plan. Layout errors could lead to lost material, which will delay shipping and disrupt warehouse operations. Regular checks should be made periodically to ensure an operational and efficient new layout. It's not only at the time where we are done with the layout design and we would start the implementation, but we need also, even after the plan and the implementation, we need to continue doing regular checks to make sure that the items are in place and nothing of the operations being affected. Going back to the objective of creating the proper layout, mostly we are looking to optimize trade-offs between handling cost and cost associated with warehouse space. In addition, we need to maximize the total cube of the warehouse, cubic feet of that warehouse, which means utilize its full volume while maintaining low material handling costs. Having material in high shelves might require special equipment that will increase the cost of handling. So we need to be careful when utilizing that space, but we don't have the proper equipment. So when handling material in the warehouse, we need to consider all costs associated with moving items within the space of that warehouse. Those costs might include the cost of incoming transports, the cost of storing items on the shelves, the cost of finding and moving material, and the cost of packaging and shipping items. Not to forget that all these operations within the warehouse will need equipment, people, material, supervision, insurance, and depreciation that should be also considered in the cost. During the transport of items in the warehouse, they might be damaged or spoiled. One of the main objectives of an efficient layout is to minimize the damage and spoilage. The warehouse layout and design specifications should address the following: the storage and space, the material needed to complete the operations, the humans who will perform these operations, inbound, outbound areas to allow for receiving and shipping operations, building and different processes. The building itself, we need to consider how it would look like, and the different processes required to receive, store, retrieve, package, and ship an item. So those are the things that we need to consider. There are additional storage and space related design specifications, such as specification related to accessibility of inventory, where different operations require different levels of accessibility to inventory. Other design specifications related to space utilization, for example, the beam height for each level should be considered to maximize the vertical space usage. If you need space to store on the shelf, so you need the high beams to be used, and that will raise the beam up, and you can store more on that shelf. In addition, the design should consider multiple zones for different stock types. For example, fast-moving SKUs with small quantities picked are normally stored in shelving flow racks to facilities ease for picking. It's like closer to the end or in the lower shelves, so it will be very easy to pick. The slow-moving pallets, on the other hand, are stored in racks that has high storage density and maybe in a high place. I'm not using that too much, so I can either keep it to the end at the end or in high places. The design should also include sufficient storage locations. The material should be stored in a way that it will be easy accessed when retrieved, when I bring it back. So another thing to consider is picking up material from shelves. Possible paths, the paths should be considered to minimize material handling to ensure the smooth movement of the material. So which path should I take just to get to that item, or multiple items and then come back to ship it or to package it. A warehouse should accommodate the traffic and machine movement within the facility. The design of the layout should eliminate the possibility of bottlenecks point that cause a deadlock in the movement of material. The travel distance for people and equipment should be reduced. You don't want the person to walk half the warehouse or all the warehouse just to get one item. So you need to make it as efficient as possible to get those items and come back, which will reduce the total travel time within the facility. So you can actually draw for them certain path to follow to get these items. Companies should consider the usage of conveyors to transport inventory. If it's easier to do that, then you can throw the item on the conveyor and it will be sent to the outgoing bound area. In the long run, it will be beneficial if the layout does not change much. When it's standardized, it's known, and everybody knows exactly where items goes and how fast. The floor should be marked to consider the movement of humans within the facility. In addition, signs should be posted to guide workers and to provide safe environment for them when moving inside the facility. So the facility should include the proper HVAC infrastructure with the proper temperature, break rooms and bathrooms to ensure also to provide the comfort for the employees. The company should make sure that the shelves are sturdy, will not fall on their employees, no cracks in the floor, no one will be hurt, no oil or water leaks so no one can slip, and the noise should be within the allowed limit for the human ears. If it's above, then we need noise dampers to be used within the facility or to bring equipment to protect the employees from that noise. Although these measures will increase the use of these measures actually um, will increase morale employees. So of course, you need to use these measures in the facility so you can increase their morale. There should be a sufficient receiving area for the inbound process. Since the unloaded inventory cannot be stored right away, actually it needs to be inspected first. So a good warehouse layout typically requires sufficient impound to allow for inventory inspection, approval, categorization, and then putting away. Same applies for the outbound area, which will allow inspection, packaging, palletizing, and shipping. The dock doors or the doors for the shipping are sometimes segregated by inbound and outbound. So once for one certain doors will be for shipping and other doors will be for receiving. Um, if we have sufficient doors or dock doors. If not, then we can make sure that operations will then have to ensure that the scheduling of the inbound and the outbound trucks do not conflict with each other. When designing the dock doors, the we should consider the bad weather or take it into consideration. For example, using awnings to cover the loading dock from rain or from snow or from wind. So you try to add anything that you need on the dock loading dock doors or the dock door to make sure of the protection that you need from the weather. By the way, the reason for the segregation is to prevent crossing of inbound and outbound inventory. Sometimes mistakes happen, and by mistake, something will be shipped. If we have the same area of inbound, outbound, you will not know that this is coming or going if it's not marked, and if it's not marked, then that will be a problem. But when you have an area, certain area for the inbound, certain area for the outbound, then at least you can um, um, distinguish between the incoming and the outgoing. From the building design point of view, aisles should be designed to allow the movement of machines such as forklift, humans, and other used equipments. To ensure efficient material handling, a cross aisles design should be used, which will allow material handling equipment to cross from one aisle to the adjacent aisle. Employees should not travel to the end of the row before going into the next aisle. And also fire regulations related to distances in the warehouse need to be adhered to make sure that in case of fire people are safe. Any point in the warehouse needed to be within a specific distance away from the emergency exit, and it should adhere to the fire regulations and codes. With cross aisles, the distance can be then controlled and we can be closer to those exits. Also, the pillars or columns that supports the building should not be in the middle of an aisle or between two aisles, um, or blocking the path of the material handling equipment. Typically, warehouses have pillars around 10 meters apart. However, in certain countries, especially earthquake prone area, the distance might be lesser. So we need to look at this is one of the options that or the factors that will affect my decision in selecting the location for the warehouse. If it's in earthquake or if it's in a hurricane area or flooding area, uh, what do I need to do, and then um, what will be the regulation for building that warehouse, and part of it will be the number of pillars or the distance between pillars uh, in that building or that warehouse. The design of the layout will dictate the type of equipment that should be used to put away and retrieve items within the warehouse. In large warehouses, you might be tempted to build upwards to occupy more airspace. So you could go to 22 or 24 or more feet of height. However, one aspect to consider at that point is the availability of the material handling equipment in the market that can reach such height, and the associated cost of these equipment. Conventional reach forklift normally can reach a level of 6 to 7 pallets rack. So higher than 7 pallets may require custom ordered material handling equipment. The design should also consider aisle orientation. The rows of pallet racking should be in line with dock doors rather than perpendicular for the ease of inbound to staging to put away in the storage medium. However, there are exceptional cases that have to be considered as well. When creating the layout design, the year-to-year expansion need to be considered. A proposed area for expansion must be taken into account. Different operations have various processes. Depending on the complexity inventory profile and order profile, you will need to calculate the size required for the different areas. Location of the miscellaneous areas such as the material handling equipment charging station. So if it's electrical and needs chargers, then I need to consider those charge stations, where to put them in the warehouse. Washrooms, pantry, all these areas should be considered, and in some cases might be in the back, should not be in the front of the warehouse, blocking the material flow for incoming material, or blocking the shipping area. You should have wiring and electrical hookups in the wall in certain areas. So you should not struggle to find areas to plug in the recharging stations for pickup and pack or pick and pack scanners, or hardwire network and internet connections for computers. Uh, if you are not using the hard connections, hardwire connections, then you need to have proper Wi-Fi coverage within the warehouse. So for new warehouse scanners, which all the scanners, the new scanners are wireless, strong Wi-Fi should cover the whole warehouse space without any problems. There are also process related design specifications And in this case, we need to divide activities that will assist in increasing the flow and of the flow efficiency and prevent crossing of inventory. By understanding the throughput of each process, the indicative size of the area can then be determined. This will help the overall space usage of the warehouse. As there are too many manual transfer of goods from one area to another, if there are many of these transfer, then we need to consider investing in a conveyor. Well, another question that we need or we can ask, is space a real concern or constraint that we cannot move, or boundaries, we have boundaries? If yes, then you can explore storage automation with high density occupancy. Is the process complicated, resulting in low throughput and thus requiring a big processing area? If yes, then machines should be investigated. For the external layout, it's not only inside the design or the layout inside, but also we should look at the external, where a space should be added around the building to allow trucking or trucks for turning and reversing. And also we need to add, for security purposes, some security cameras and a fence, maybe a gate. It depends on the type of warehouse again that we have, and the type of product that we are dealing with. In case of a power outage, especially if you are using perishable material or storing perishable material, then maybe you need to consider alternative power source such as generators or solar systems. That will be all for this session. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you and have a great day.